Hey guys, it's Alex, and I'm here with my Bookish Pet Peeves video, part 2. I did say if you were interested, I'd be posting a second part, and I will link the first part down below. But these are, I guess, my second top 5 Bookish Pet Peeves. The first on this list, or I guess it could potentially be the 6th on this list, but the first on this particular list, is writing out accents. I hate when people write out accents. It is the most irritating thing to me. I don't mind when people are writing out slang or specific words, or if they're writing the accent in a very subtle way. But when authors go all out trying to mimic something very heavy, like a French accent, I'm looking at you, J.K. Rowling, I'm looking at Fleur's accent, that was awful to read. I hated reading that. It was the most cringe. It's so confusing to read. When I'm reading, I don't hear that naturally as a French accent in my head. I'm sitting there trying to decipher what the words were, and I don't enjoy doing that. It adds nothing to my reading experience. I'd rather the author just told me instead of trying to show me in that situation. Because it's so frustrating to sit there and try to determine what ZEE actually means. Like, is that the? Or is she trying to say something different? Who knows? But that's always something that I'm going to hate. Second item on this list is also kind of looking at J.K. Rowling, and that's queerbaiting or fake representation or anything like that. I would honestly rather a book just be incredibly white, incredibly heteronormative, all those things, than pretend like it has representation that it doesn't have. Like J.K. Rowling does with Harry Potter. It's the most frustrating thing. I'd honestly just prefer Harry Potter be incredibly white and straight than her sit here and try to pretend after the fact that, oh, Dumbledore was gay and Hermione could be black, I guess, who knows. If you see it that way, I totally support that. And her taking credit for all these things. It's so frustrating as a reader because I'd rather you just own your lack of diversity rather than trying to fake it. Not that having a lack of diversity is good, but I'd honestly rather that than the authors who pretend like they do so much better than they do. Like, if you can't actually do it, just own the fact that you suck in that regard, and I'd respect you a lot more as a writer. Number 3 is one that gets me a lot in romance books, and that is the overprotective father, brother, friend, male person in your life trope. I can't stand when a female character is dating a new guy or a new person, and whoever the male figure in their life is gets all up in arms about it and decides to be super overprotective and follows them around and like threatens the other person, says they're gonna keep them safe or whatever they do. It's always so cringe to me. And it's such a common trope. Like, it's definitely a lot more subtle than like father with a shotgun the way it used to be, but it's still very present and I always hate it. Like, obviously if it's discussed within the story and it's like actually an element of the story, I'm okay with that. But when it's not, especially when it's included as this haha funny thing, I just cringe. I hate the toxic masculinity of that. And I hate that it's encouraging this need so many men seem to have to just like protect women, like women can't fend for themselves. And I hate that so much. I hate reading that. My 4th biggest pet peeve is when books center around a secret to be revealed in the end. This happens a lot with thrillers, but I've seen it with a number of other genres as well. It doesn't have a specific genre, it just lends itself very well to thrillers, where throughout the story they keep referencing something specific. They keep referencing what happened that night, for example. They'll be like, what happened that night was so bad, it changed all of our lives. But we can't talk about what happened that night. It was a secret. And like throughout the story, they keep referencing it, only to have it revealed in the end. I have 2 major problems with this. The first is that it's really cheap and really lazy. If you can't keep your readers interested through your characters and your story, that's a problem with your writing. You shouldn't have to resort to cheap tactics to get your readers involved till the end. I don't want to read the story just because I'm trying to figure out what the secret is. I want to actually care about the characters. I want to care about the events. And when I'm only reading for the secret, that means your story has already failed me in a way. The second issue I have is that when a secret is built up throughout the entire story, whatever it's revealed to be is going to be incredibly anticlimactic. Because when you're building it up so much, it doesn't matter how dramatic it is. It's always going to seem a little bit less than what you imagined. And your book is going to be cheapened by that almost. And I really hate reading that because it just seems like a waste of a book. I'd rather have nuance and depth than a cheap trick to keep me interested. The fifth and final point on this list is a big one, and it's honestly a reason why I don't read quite as much YA fantasy, and that is the strong female character trope. And I know this is a big one that pretty much everyone recognizes, but it's essentially when a female character is only considered strong because she can fight, and that is where her strength comes from. Often these characters are given very stereotypically masculine traits while being stripped of their femininity, but they still manage to remain super beautiful even though they would never deign to put on makeup or wear a pretty dress. They're just gorgeous in their own right without having to ever style their clothes. They have a beautiful body despite not ever dressing to make it look nice or working to make it look nice, and I hate this trope. Strong female characters are nuanced. Like, yes, strong female characters can fight with a sword and take you in a fist fight and stab you in the heart. But strong female characters can also sew a pretty dress or put on makeup and look lovely, or be a kind person or forgive their bullies. Strong female characters can be whoever they are as a person, as a character. And they can cry, they can be sad, they can have stereotypically feminine traits. The thing about this trope is that it tends to assume that to be a strong female character, you have to have stereotypically masculine traits. And that's just simply not true. It's really frustrating to read because that's not what feminism is about. Like, if you have stereotypically masculine traits, that's fine. But stereotypically feminine traits are strong as well. And that also makes you a strong character. It's just about the characters being well written. And it seems like, especially in a lot of YA fantasy, that the female character is given a sword, is given muscles, and that is what makes her strong, as opposed to actually having a well-developed character and having some feminine traits too, because stereotypically feminine traits are equally strong. And I am saying stereotypically masculine and stereotypically feminine traits because there are no masculine or feminine traits, but like, what is viewed by society as stereotypically either one of those things is generally what I mean here. Let me know down below what you guys think of these pet peeves and what some of your pet peeves are. I think it's really fun to talk about the negatives sometimes when it comes to reading. Just a little bit of hate, a little bit of negativity makes us all a little bit happier, I think. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all again soon.